How do we go from this?
You want to wait for fire to try to get him out?
Yeah, don't move. If he's having a seizure, just let him be.
Okay.
To this.
Come on, let's go.
Ow.
Hey, resisting, bro.
Oh, God.
Let's go. Let's get out of the car. You're gonna get tased if you don't
tased.
move. We want to help you, but do not fight us.
Alright.
You will get ripped out of this car.
Yes, sir.
We're not playing.
Get out of the car.
Get the
Yes,
Get out of the
Get out,
car.
you're about to get tased, dude. Taser 7. Taser deployed. Still fighting. Come on. No more. No more.
On April 1st, 2024, 21-year-old Jack Bruce was driving in Hercules, California, when he suffered a traumatic and acute seizure. This seizure led to his car crashing into a ravine. But the accident isn't what caused nationwide news coverage.
Police in the East Bay are facing a new lawsuit for tasing a man who had just had a seizure because he wasn't obeying their orders to get out of his car.
Yeah, this man certainly does appear to be out of it. His lawyer says that he had epilepsy and had a seizure while he was driving, then ended up crashing his car into a ravine. That is the call that Hercules Police were responding to when this all went down. Now, once he is out of the car, officers continued to tase and struggle with him. The lawsuit alleges that Hercules Police later charged Bruce with crimes to justify and cover up their actions. Those charges were never pursued by the district attorney.
It's not okay to double down on your bad acts and try to cover them up or try to pretend that there's something that they're not. If you're not using it as a learning experience to improve the culture in a police department, you are tainting all of those good officers who want good outcomes to happen.
The lawsuit accuses the officers of excessive force, battery, false arrest, defamation, and violations of ADA. It also says Bruce ended up with puncture wounds from the taser, multiple cuts, and lingering back pain, as well as emotional distress. Well, Hercules City Councilman Alexander Walker Griffin released a statement today calling the event heartbreaking. He says that after seeing stories about the case and feedback from the community in Hercules, he supports whatever the family decides to do next and will request the police department to conduct further training to ensure that things like this never happen again. That attorney that I spoke with is not specifying a dollar amount that he's looking for in this lawsuit. He says he just wants to acknowledge this. He wants the acknowledgement from the Hercules PD, basically that something went wrong.
But they couldn't even do that, and cops did what cops do. Even after one officer told the others that the young man was having a seizure, they still continued to abuse him. But admitting something that they did was clearly wrong far surpasses any police officer's ability. Because we all know in police protocol, we double down, triple down, justify, and then charge. This has led to Jack Bruce filing a lawsuit against the city of Hercules, especially Officers Angel Garcia, Officer Michael Thompson, and Officer Joshua Goldstein, for false arrest, excessive force, violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act, California Civil Codes 52, California Civil Codes 51, common law false arrest, common law battery, common law negligence, common law intentional infliction of emotional distress, and common law defamation. Now, after police do something absolutely terrible and unconscionable, they normally go on social media to try and make the public like them again, because when you're a cop, it's really all about being praised. Less than a month after they abused this man, they had the gall to post this on social media.
Chief Vasquez was driving to the police department. He noticed a young man assisting an elderly woman who had fallen due to exhaustion from carrying 2 grocery bags. One of her bags included her birthday cake, which was destroyed during her fall. Officers Demi Gonis and Jade Lawson responded to the scene and accompanied the woman until she was medically cleared. Then they drove her home. Along the way, the officers noticed the lady's birthday cake was ruined from her falling on it. They collectively decided to purchase her a new cake with their own money and deliver it to the birthday girl's home.
Firstly, I wonder if this elderly woman even existed, because if she did, there'd probably be body cam of it. But life is all about knowledge. What if when the officers went to assist this real-life, not imaginary elderly woman, told this elderly woman their department's background and what they just did to a young man a month earlier that had a seizure? Armed with that knowledge, the woman probably would have not wanted officers' help. She probably would have went right home and considered it a birthday present that she survived another year after encountering the Hercules Police Department. This is the story. On April 1st, 2024, officers Garcia, Thompson, and Goldstein were on assignment when they got an emergency call that a driver had crashed his car into a ravine. They responded code to the wreck to render what they called aid, but what the rest of us call cold, calculated assault and battery.
They're going 97. I got it. We're good.
This is car keys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You got it. All good?
Everything's okay. Yeah.
I'm coming. What's up?
You want to wait for fire to try to get him out?
Yeah, don't move. If he's having a seizure, just let him be.
Okay.
Now, the officer responding clearly states that this man is having a seizure. And it's very clear the only people that should be touching this man are medical personnel, or people with basic medical knowledge, because they would know that a person with a seizure experience abnormal behavior, auras, pins and needles, but most commonly, temporary paralysis, confusion, and amnesia. Simply put, normally after someone has a seizure, they don't know what just happened to them or where they are. And they often behave erratically because their body has undergone such shock. But for the Hercules Police Department, even though they know there's a medical reason, there couldn't possibly be a medical explanation. It must just be plain old resisting. For officer safety, of course.
He is breathing though.
If he's fine, just let him be.
Okay. Do you have an ID on you, boss?
I got his wallet right here.
Did you ingest any drugs or anything?
231 fires 97. Two through 12901. Last of Bruce, Boy, Robert, Union, Charles, Edward. First of Jack, Common, 6/12/2002, male local.
After watching this video, I reached out to the Hercules Police Department to do some digging into the training, policies, and protocols that are in place for officers when they're responding to an emergency situation like this one.
Police Department, how may I help you?
Hi, good morning. Just so you know, I am recording this call for my records. Thanks for answering. I'm doing a story on how police officers and medical personnel are heroes, and they have to respond to tough incidences and they have to help people during medical emergencies. And that's a really big job. So I just wanted to call firstly, excuse me, and say thank you for keeping everybody safe. So let me just say that.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely no problem. I gotta tell you, I could not respond to a scene where there's been something like a car crash and then see someone really injured and be able to keep my cool, as well as some of these police officers do. It must be pretty hard.
I can imagine,
Yeah. And especially over there at I wouldn't know what to do, but it seems like police officers are normally able to, the reaction is kind of in their DNA. They know just what to do. There was a man with a seizure had a car crash, and police showed up to the scene, and they just knew what to do. They knew to deploy their taser and tase him several times, puncturing his skin and his lung, causing him permanent deficit. It's a hard job they have,
Yeah, definitely.
Are you aware of Hercules Police responding to a 21-year-old man having a seizure, and knowing that he had a seizure, continuing to tase and then strike him in the face with a closed fist?
I'm just the dispatcher, so I can have someone talk to you. Do you have a good callback number?
I can wait on hold if anyone's available. You're very nice, and I appreciate the hard work you do, and thanks for being willing to speak to me in recording. If someone is available, I'd love to speak to them.
Yeah, of course. What's a good callback for you?
I can just wait on hold. If they're unavailable, I can just call back at a later time.
Yeah, actually, let me get you to his work phone. I'm sure you can. Give me 1 second.
Oh, thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, no problem. Are you with, a news agency?
Yes, I'm with a very large news agency.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Give me 1 second.
And just so you know, I love dispatchers. I think that you guys have to keep cool, and at least other people, when they're at a scene, they can assess the situation visually. You guys kind of just have to deal with the emergency at a moment's notice without seeing what's going on, and I think that you do a fantastic job. I'm more concerned with the actions of these 3 Hercules police officers.
Yeah, I understand. Let me get you over to talk to someone, okay? Give me 1 second.
Thank you. I continued to wait on hold for several minutes. The phone continued to ring and ring and ring until ultimately I got to voicemail, which is totally understandable. Normally, after police get caught doing something as egregious as this, they hide from the public to avoid accountability and transparency. And in their small minds, they think the public will eventually forget about this and just let it subside. And then shortly after, they'll make a post about police buying a grandmother a new birthday cake. Now Hercules Police are going to speak to a bystander that witnessed the whole thing go down. She's going to report him shaking and convulsing uncontrollably. Now after the first officer witnessed this man having a seizure, and this witness backs it up with her own testimony, their training should lead them to believe that this is a medical emergency. But cops just can't resist deploying that taser. It should also be noted that portions of this video are being blurred out. It's just too graphic to be shown, and it's way too graphic to ever even have happened.
Did you see him go down all the way?
Yeah, so he stopped and there was 2 cars, he was 3 cars in front of me.
Just slow roll
And then
down.
it was just slow roll and people passed, and when I passed him I just saw him he was like this, he was convulsing.
Could I just get your phone number if you guys can get going,
for
and,
sure.
and then we'll call you if we need a statement later.
Okay.
Imagine you just had a seizure. The last thing you remember is driving down the road, enjoying a cruise on a beautiful day in California. The weather's warm, there's a nice breeze, and you're listening to your favorite jam on the radio. The next thing you know, you wake up, complete total body pain. Inexplicable pins, needles, and auras surrounding your person. You're totally confused, and you can't remember anything that's happened to you. You look around at your surroundings, you take them in. There's tree branches everywhere, your car's completely totaled, and 4 strangers are now ripping you out of your car. How would you react? Would you be compliant? Or would you be in a state of confusion, as all seizure survivors are after experiencing one? Take just a second of being in this man's shoes. How would you have reacted to this?
Wake up in case.
All right, let's hop out. Let's go. Come on. Let's hop out. Come on. We're getting out. Let's go.
We got an ambulance.
Come on.
What are you
We're getting out. We're getting out. Let's go.
What are you doing? Get out of the car, dude.
Come on. Come on. Let's go.
Hey, resisting, bro. Let's go. Let's get out of the car. You're gonna get tased if you don't get out. We want to help you, but do not fight us. You will get ripped out of this car.
Yes, sir.
We're not playing.
Get out of the car.
Get the up.
Yes,
Get out of the car. You're about to get tased, dude.
I'm gonna get out.
Get out then.
He's super slippery.
Let me get on.
Let's go. Get out of the car. You're about to get tased, dude.
Bro, let me get on. Ow!
Get out of the car.
1, code 33.
Ow! Help! Help!
Stop fighting.
The terrible things they do to this man continue for another 7 minutes. 7 minutes without medical attention, 7 minutes being manhandled and punched, 7 minutes without medical care. And after this assault is where the cover-up comes into play. Police know they've made a grave error. One of them has stated that a seizure has taken place and a witness corroborates. So where things stand right now, they've violated several of this man's constitutional rights, including his Americans with Disabilities Act rights. But what if it wasn't a medical emergency? What if the guy was on drugs? That would justify everything and make it all go away.
What have you taken?
Hey, hold on. Let him put this around his legs.
Nothing, bro.
You took something. That is not normal behavior.
Point your feet and we'll pass him up. So just point your feet and we'll get him up. Hold on.
Let go.
Ready? Okay. Pass him up.
Let go. Ow.
3.
Ow.
Watch, you got a lot of rebar over here. Gar.
Hey, there was another set of.
Yeah.
Everybody lost here. Go see, you lost some mags.
I got my mags. Those are my cuffs that are on them, right?
Yeah, mine too.
Now, after dealing with one man who had a seizure, these police officers have all lost their mags, handcuffs, and hats. They're almost as discombobulated as the man they've just assaulted, but the story doesn't end here. They have some stories to make up for their supervisor.
There's another set of the beer. I don't know if you hit that one. Hey, just hold it for a second. And then, can you grab my hat, Goldstein, please?
I got.
We'll take pictures of the car, and it's going to be a DUI investigation.
Yeah.
I don't know who's
So, and then fired you.
That's the son, right? The younger one?
Yeah. He almost fought with fire, so we're like, dude, we're pulling you out. You're under the influence. Immediate, he was fighting. Tased twice. I punched him in the face a couple times, but he kicked me in the fucking head.
Yeah, I got kicked in that too. You okay? Yeah, I'm good.
We're all good.
We're good, but just letting you know what happened. I don't think we need him anymore, but I'll take him.
He's got just a dope in his car or something.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but I mean, what was the call? Came out as
a car in the ditch, but the guy possibly having a seizure.
Okay. So, just chill out, bro. Whoever's probably gonna need a blood draw search warrant.
Yeah. This could be a DUI investigation. This could be a DUI investigation. This could be a DUI investigation.
Yeah.
Stop slide down.
Hey, look at my pants.
Can we
Yeah. Sorry, PD pay for it.
Is that rebar?
It might have been. It might have been. Garcia.
Alright, we were holding rebar.
And after labeling a traumatic crash that will forever change this young man's life as a DUI investigation, they laugh and then silence their body cams. But not just one officer muted their body cams. Every officer, including the supervisor at the scene, silenced their body cams also. Because they're police and they're afforded extra opportunities. Although this young man didn't have the time to straighten his story out, all these officers will have the time to straighten their stories out, get their stories straight, and figure out exactly what they're going to say when they're on the stand, being referred to simply as defendant. In a newspaper article, victim Jack Bruce goes on to say, "I just remember going to visit my grandmother, and when I left that house, my memory cut off." He goes on to tell police officers, "I'm just having a medical emergency. I had no ill intent or anything like that." He continues to say that he went through tons of pain. I would say the worst pain I've ever been in my life. All busted up, it wasn't a pretty sight to look at. No one deserves to go through that. Medical professionals who've reviewed this case have gone on to state, "The treatment for seizure is time. In the space of 10 minutes, based on his subsequent seizures, he would have been fine. He would have walked out of that car on his own power." After the DA threw the case out, Jack went on to say, "I'm hurt mentally, physically. Just watching it makes me hurt. It's just something no one should go through, and I don't want it to happen again." The Hercules Police Department has failed to respond to any request for comment from media, including my own. In fact, as far as my investigation reveals, I'm the only one who's got any comment from anyone, and that being the dispatcher. But what do we expect from someone who only undergoes 12 weeks of training? 12 weeks of training, you get a badge, a gun, and the protection of qualified immunity. A precedent that will make you immune from prosecution. and will protect you from your crimes, while you're suspending and terminating another individual's constitutional rights. And the average career of a law enforcement officer is about 20 years. 12 weeks of schooling has never made me an expert on anything. It certainly hasn't allowed me or prepared me to continue a 20-year career on that 12 weeks of training. In fact, 12 weeks is only about 0.115% of 20 years. That 12 weeks of training doesn't even break 1% of what he's going to need to know for the next 20 years, and it certainly will not save the next victim. Until next time, that's the reason I stopped you today.